Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to talk about SEOs to help you understand how to grow your business using SEO. So I'm going to be very quick, a bit about myself. 6 years experience in digital marketing, I'm Google certified. I've worked in 3 high street retailers in a digital marketing role. I'm an e-commerce consultant for Caribbean World magazine, and I'm the owner of a booking platform called Rated DJs. So why are you here and why are you watching this video? So you want to learn what SEO is, how to execute SEO, move up Google search results, increase your website visitors, find new customers and increase your sales. So what is SEO? SEO equals visibility. So 93% of your customers won't go further than the first page of Google. So if you imagine you've actually never been past the first page, and majority of the other people haven't either. So the contents of this presentation is, think of search engines as a person. So as I go through this presentation, I'm going to try and get you to think about Google as a person. How search engines decide where you rank. So that's sort of the metrics, the algorithms and the signals they use to be able to rank your website, and how to move up the search results page. We're also going to talk about what is on-site optimization and what is off-site optimization. So as I said before, think of Google or any other search engine as a person. The reason why is because Google decides, and all the other search engines decide, where you go when a customer or a user types in a specific keyword. So you've got to be able to meet all of Google's and all of Yahoo's and Bing's signals, their metrics and the way they rank websites. You need to be able to meet all those sort of key points to be able to track and be able to justify why your website or your content should be on the first page of the search results. So if you imagine also, Google doesn't want to refer any bad websites to the user or any other search engine. The reason why is because if they refer a bad website, then the person will no longer go to that search engine again. So if Google kept returning results such as bad websites on the first page, people won't use Google. So you've got to also, what I'm trying to say is, when you think about Google or any other search engines, think about them as a person trying to provide advice or trying to provide results that someone will want to see and come back again and trust that person. So PageRank. In this slide, I'm going to talk about what is PageRank. So this is something where Google basically measures and ranks your website, and it ranks all other websites as well. So it helps it justify for certain keywords where you should fit. So things that contribute to that is the age of your domain. And what I mean by that is, if your website has been trading for 5 years and someone else has just started, so like a competitor in your niche or your industry has just started, your website will continue to outrank them. Now, the only way they will be able to outrank you is if they provide better content than you. So that's one thing to think about. So just because your website's been around for 5 years or 10 years doesn't always mean you're going to be on the first page of Google. So you've always got to make sure that you're providing the best content on your website for customers to keep coming back, and for Google to keep wanting to put you on the top page of the search results. So page authority. Page authority is built up by the authenticity and the gravitas of the quality of work that you provide and the content you provide on your website. So if you imagine BBC News, BuzzFeed, Sky News, all these sort of big websites where they're providing news articles every single day, the reason why they have page authority and high page authority is because they're providing new content, which is credible content. So if you're running a business and you want to make sure you increase your page authority, you need to provide credible content in your industry or in your niche that Google deems as credible and that other people deem as credible as well. And the way to measure your credibility in your work and your content is by the number of people that are sharing your content. So if I take, for example, a person who is a dietitian and they've created a new 12-week workout plan and a diet plan for people to use. Now imagine if that plan consisted of 2,000 words for each post. For each day, they had 2,000 words for each post. And then the BBC News, their website basically referred back to your website, citing your work for their food section of their website. So imagine if they actually referred to your website, backlinked to your website, and shared it. And if BuzzFeed did exactly the same as well, and that was for the food section as well. So for people that are trying to be fit and healthy, and the dieting sort of side of their website, that they referred and cited back to your website. The number of backlinks and the number of shares, the number of visits that you're going to get because of Google has the BBC and BuzzFeed and all the other big websites have basically cited your work. They've referred back to your website. That gives you a bit of authority. So it then creates page authority. So that again refers back to your page rank. So the more content you provide, the better quality content you provide, will increase your page authority. Now, I've already spoken about backlinks. So backlinks are basically the number of good websites that are linking back to your website based on the content you're providing and the service you're providing. So it can't be poor backlinks. So it can't be a blogger that's a new, if you've got a product and you've asked a blogger to review your product, but that blogger's only got 20 visits a day. If you had a backlink from them to your website, it's going to harm your business. Whereas if you had a blogger that was in tech gadgets and they've been going for 5, 6, 7 years and they've got 20,000 visits a day and they actually reviewed your product and they linked back to your product, that one backlink is going to do so much for you versus getting that one blogger that's only just started out. So backlinks are about getting other websites to link back to your website based on the quality of work you are creating. And again, that affects your page rank. So this is all about your page rank and how you build your page rank to move up the search results. So social media. Now, Google and all the other big search engines can see exactly what you're doing on social media, and it measures your social signal based on the engagement. And again, that affects your page rank. The way that it does this is because Twitter, Facebook, Instagram all have APIs and they're all interlinked and fed into Google. So, when you post something, Google can see that your account is actually posting something, and based on the engagement that you have, based on the number of comments you have, and based on how much, in terms of a weekly and a monthly basis, what's going on in your niche, and what are you doing in your community, this will greatly help your page rank on your website and move your website up the search results. So basically concentrating on your search, on your social media presence is definitely key. Now, the thing to remember here is you want to post less and comment more. So I'm going to say that again. You want to post less and you want to comment more. And what I mean by that is don't just send 20, don't post 20 things a day. What you could do is post 3 things a day, but then comment and interact with more people on your social pages. The reason why is because that creates engagement, and the more engagement you have, the better it is for your page rank. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is optimized website. So what this means is the better coded your website is, the better Google and all their search engines, feel better about your website because you care about the user experience. If you're coding your website very well, it means it's going to work on mobile, tablet, and all the other smart devices that we use nowadays. That means you care about the user experience, and that's what Google cares about. Google wants to refer good websites on its first page so that people keep on using Google. So if you had a bad website and your website was coded very badly, Google's not going to show you on the first page because it doesn't want people to see your page. Otherwise, they won't go on Google again. So again, it's much about Google's return on investment and also your website as well. So just as long as you make sure your website is optimized for all the devices that we use nowadays, then you'll have no issues landing on the first page of Google. So the next slide is talking about, again, moving up Google, and the first point is content. Now the thing thing is, I've just spoken quite heavily about this, but I'm gonna go in a bit more detail. And what this focuses on is the content you create that is shareable, and your aim is to make it go viral. Whatever you create, you want it to go viral. So if I can take for an example, a blogger, a traveling blogger that's and all they post about is tourist destinations, and that's their lifestyle, and that's where they go around traveling different hotels and cities and stuff. The idea for them is that they want to be able to create content of good photos, good images, good videos, that people share it, and the more content they keep providing on a daily basis, the higher up Google they're going to go, and all the other search engines as well. So for your business, now I can understand that a lot of you watching this might not be in that sort of industry, so I'm going to try and link it back to something else. So on the top of my head, the only thing I can think of right now is if you were a person that repairs shoes on the high street, well, what you could do is you could create videos, you could create images, and you could create content on the type of shoes that you repair, the history of the big brands and where they started from, and the process of repairing shoes, and what goes into repairing the shoes to make it work as it should do before it's broken. So again, creating this content does go viral because people care about these things. They want to watch these things, and the more virality that you have on your content, the better it is for your website, because it's another measure for Google that your website is sociable, it's shareable, and you're creating content that people care about. So that's already covered over the second point that I was going to talk about. So it's also sort of touched based on the third point, which is create such good content that other websites backlink to your website. So if we take, for example, the shoe repair, imagine if you were doing such a good job of the videos that you created, that Nike or TM, or there's all these other big brands like Clark's and all these other high street retailers, they shared the content you created. That means that they've given you a bit of page authority. They've appreciated the work that you create, and so will all of their audience, that their their customers that are on their social pages or on their blog or on their website. You've basically got yourself into a niche market where your competitors care about the content you provide as well. And once they do that, that means that Google's spotted that you've got a high backlink to your website, which with good page authority, from a website where they've been trading for many years. So you must be your business must be of good use to people, and you're providing a good service to people. So your website again moves up the page of Google. And again, when I'm talking about Google, I want you guys to appreciate that, as it's the most popular search engine, I'm just going to keep saying that, but this actually works for all the other search engines as well. So the next bullet point I'm going to talk about is post 5 times a day, and that touches based on something I said a couple of minutes ago, and that's basically you want to have a consistent number of posts every single day, whether it's on Twitter, on your blog, your Facebook page, but you want to make sure all those channels that you can touch base with your customers and with your your audience, that you're able to communicate with them on a daily basis. I understand that it might feel that 5 times a day is not you might be thinking you should be posting 20 times a day, but as I said before, it's post less and comment more. So those five pieces of content you've posted, if you make them such good content that people want to share it, that basically means that you don't need to post 20 times a day of small snippets of information. 5 is enough, just as long as it's very good content. Now the next point is guest bloggers. So I don't know if I touched based on this before, but you want to create such a value to the industry and the niche that other bloggers want to be able to blog about your business, or blog about the services you provide, or the added value that you provide, or the history of what you're doing. So people that are vetted, that have, been blogging for 10 years or 15 years, and they've built up such a good audience, you want to be working with those people. And I can understand you might be thinking, well, that's going to cost you tens of thousands of pounds, or even in the hundreds of thousands of pounds. But the fact is, if you are already creating and adding value to the industry and to your customers, that these guest bloggers are going to want to partner up with you anyway, because you're becoming the market leader slowly but surely as you move up the page of Google. By providing good content, these people are going to start interacting with you, and they're going to want to work with you to better your business and better their audience as well. They want to grow their audience as well. And these people, as they get bigger and bigger, they want to give back as well. So it's something to think about, that you do want to get guest bloggers on your radar, basically. So the next point I've got is create video content. And I've already given you an example of a shoe repair person. I think I've spoken about a techie gadget sort of thing, but maybe we can talk about florists that you see on the high street. Now, if your website is, you're a florist, or you sell bouquets or those sort of things, you might want to create videos of how to make a bouquet, what goes into it, how do you think about the flowers you're going to use, what about the vase they go in, or what time of the year certain flowers grow. I mean, all these things, to create a video, this is good content that people want to watch and listen to, because you're providing value to them. They might not necessarily buy from you, but the fact is they're on your channel, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on YouTube, they're on your channel and they're listening to you. And the more user engagement you have, so if you have 4 minutes of a video and someone's watched that for 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes, Google's going to see that again, and all their search engines are going to see that as well. So just as long as you're creating content that people engage with and they appreciate and they like it and they share it, this is something valuable for your business, and it's going to help your website move up the search engine results. So the next point is social media. So again, post less, comment more. You're going to hear me keep on saying this. Post less, comment more. So it's post less, comment more. So then the next thing I'm going to talk about is on-site optimization. So this is about your website and how can you structure your website to be better at to be searchable on Google and to continue moving up the search results page. So your website structure. So now this is talking about your main navigation, how you structured it. Is it understandable by the user that is using it? Is it understandable by the webmasters such as Google, Yahoo, Bing? Can they understand your navigation and how it's structured? Is your navigation working on mobile, desktop, and tablets? And that's falling onto the user experience. So again, the better user experience you provide, the more likely you are to be on the first page of Google, based on the fact that you care about the user experience. And Google and all their search engines want good websites on the first page of Google. So the next point is website speed. So the website speed, it's funny, we as as internet users, we want websites to load within seconds, and I'm talking 2 seconds at an absolute maximum. Back in the day, it would have been 15-20 seconds before you got a page to load. But now we've become impatient when it comes to web download speeds. The reason is because the infrastructure has grown so much and broadband has got so good in the world that we've just got used to it, that our time is very valuable. So when a website takes very long to load, that's a bad user experience. And again, Google and all the search engines don't want to provide a bad user experience. So if your website is built in a way where you're loading high-res images, HD video, and all these sort of high file sizes, big file sizes, to be able to, and it's requesting the user to download that immediately, which takes a lot of time, that's providing a bad user experience for people, and that's something that's not going to work very well for you if you want to climb the search results page. So you've got to make sure your website speed is up to standard. It's only loading in 2 to 3 seconds. And if you find that your website's already got high-res images, HD video, there are scripts that you can get that will compress the size of your content based on the bandwidth that person is using. So if they're on a mobile network, or if they've got a really slow connection, your website would automatically be able to reduce the resolution of the video and of the JPEG images as well. So that's based on coding, but again, that's based on your on-site optimization, and that's linking back to the user experience as well. So keyword density. Now, the important thing about keyword density is that you don't want to spam pages, but you want to make sure that the main topic of what you're trying to sell, or the content you're providing, that the keywords are there, but they're not spamming the page. Because if you spam your page with shoe repair, shoe repair, shoe repair, shoe repair, Google's just going to see that spam, unrelated content, and it's just going to push that content down so no one else can see it. So you want to make sure that the content you're providing is not spammed or the keywords that you're using are related to the industry. So to give you an example about the shoe repair business, it could be the type of shoes, like leather shoes, or it could be office shoes, or Timberland boots, or any type of shoes, or wedding boots, or whatever it is. But you can't just have the same keywords again and again, repeated, because your page will just get pushed down to search results page, and that's not why you're here, and that's not why you're what you're trying to achieve. So I've spoken about this next point already, but I'm just going to highlight it again. It's website coding. So your website has to be up to standards, and you should really go through coding every 3 to 4 months to make sure it's loading perfectly on all devices, and that you're using the best languages available for the services and for the content you're trying to provide, that will allow it to work in the best possible way. And the user experience is at the maximum, so everyone is getting the best user experience based on the tools and assets and languages available in that moment of time. If things in the future change and you find that there's actually a better way to structure your website in terms of coding, then that's something definitely to do, because the more times you do that, the more Google and all the search engines appreciate the fact that you care about the user experience, you care about your website. So let's move you onto the first page of Google, because we can see you care about your business and providing a good customer service. So the next thing is URL structure. So if you let's say now let's move on to bouquets, and you're a florist, and you've done a blog about I don't know, you've done a blog about autumn flowers, or something like that. Well, it should start off with your domain name / the blog / the date of the blog / then the topic of the blog as well, so the title of the blog. And now that is how you should structure your URL, so Google and the user as well can understand what they're looking at. One thing to remember is URLs are now shown in the search results page as well, so you want to make sure that you haven't got any random characters like a hashtag or apostrophes or stars or percentage signs or dollar signs. You want to get rid of all of that, and you want to just make sure that your URL structure is plain and easy to understand, and it's just better in terms of user experience. Now the next point is mobile friendly. So this is quite an obvious one, but mobile usage, online usage has now surpassed desktop usage. So what that means is everyone now is using a mobile device to access the internet. So when you're building a website, you've actually got to build for mobile first. It's something where you might have thought might not happen 10 years ago, but since the iPhone and since smartphones have now come out, with touchscreen phones, it's just moved that way. And what I'm trying to get you to understand here is that you need to make sure that when you build your website, or whatever website you've got right now, that it loads perfectly fine on a mobile phone and on a desktop as well. So it's got to be a responsive website. And again, this is important because Google cares about user experience, and so do the other search results, other search engines do as well. The next point is keywords, title, meta, H1, H2, and H3 tags. Now you might be wondering what the hell that is, but keywords obviously is self-explanatory, but title is the title of the page. Meta is the meta description, which is sort of you can edit this in the back end of your website. So if you use WordPress or a CMS website, you can edit the meta content of the page, and it's a description of the page in your back end of the website. H1 is heading 1, H2 is the second heading, and H3 is the third heading of a page. And this is how you structure a page in terms of HTML, and you can do that in WordPress or in the CMS of your website as well. If you use Magento, you can also do that in Magento as well. But these are common languages and key assets that you should be using for each page on your website. Now the second point is sitemap 301 and 404 errors. So your sitemap is basically a one file .xml, it's a .xml, and it's like a directory or a list of all the pages and all the pages and content on your domain. You want to have this updated because all the search engines scrape this to understand where all your files are or the pages are. Your 301 directs are basically if you've changed your store name or your domain name and you're now moving over to a new domain name, you need to use 301 redirects in Google Webmasters and basically redirect all the old links to the new links. So if a blogger has linked to your old website where you had a blog post and you want them to relink to the new website where you got that content uploaded again, you need to use a 301 redirect. 404 errors is basically if someone can't find your website should return a 404 error. Now what you want to do is you want to optimize your 404 error to make it your 404 error page to make it as optimized as you can, so that it takes the user to what they were looking for, or if at the most very minimum take them back to the home page or where they were before. So this is just to help Google and all the other search engines understand that the page that the person tried to visit doesn't exist anymore. So we're now going to push them back to a different page to help the user experience. So again, this whole thing is about content, user experience, and page rank. So next point is offsite optimization. Now, this is going back to how you can get other websites to verify who you are, and to make sure that you become credible outside of your own domain. So reputable backlinks, we've already spoken about that before, so I'm just going to highlight that very briefly. It's about getting places like that are reputable in your industry or in your niche to link back to you. So again, let's just take for example a shoe repair company, and imagine if they got places like Nike, Timberland, all these big brands to link back to the website, based on the fact that you're providing good content is something you want to aim for if that's the niche you're in, or if that's the sort of thing you want to think about. Again, offsite optimization, we've covered. The next point is how socially engaged are you. Again, I'm going to say it again, post less, comment more, and referrals, links from social media. So now this is important because all the big search engines look at this. So if someone sees a piece of content you've posted on social media and you're able to take them from their social media page and move them over to your website, and they turn into a customer. And the way that Google understand this and all their search engines is because Google Analytics, they'll be able to see that the person has, came from Facebook and gone on to buy something on your website. Now, what this means is you've interrupted that user's experience because they were first on social media to talk to their friends. But your website or your content was so good that they had to buy from you in that moment, and you provided such good content that it was an instant decision that they found it like amazing that whatever you were providing, the content you were providing was so good that they need to buy whatever you were selling at that moment in time. Now, the more times you can do that, the better it is for your website, because again, your conversions will go up, your sales will go up, and Google will see that as a very good signal, and it'll push your website up. So the next thing is direct visits to your website. Now, what this is about networking in your niche. So we've got to remember that, you know, people used to do business face to face, and what you're going to have to do is get out there, meet people, shake some hands, and pass your business card around, and go to some seminars or go to some exhibitions or whatever it is that you want to do in your niche. You just need to get out there and get people going to your website directly without going to Google, without the search engines. And it might sound odd, but the more direct traffic you have, the more page authority you have. So as you can imagine, people don't need to go to Google to type in bbc.co.uk. They don't need to type in Timberland or River Island or all these other big brands. And you might be thinking, well, that's because they've got a big marketing budget, but that's not true. The reason why all these people go direct is because the content they're providing is so good that the brand becomes memorable, that their experience with the brand becomes so good that they will never forget the domain name ever again. And that's what you want to do. So the bigger direct visits you have, the better it is for your website on the search results page. So blog commenting with your URL. So this is something to think about. If you are let's say for example there is you're a florist and there's a forum, and basically all you guys talked about were flowers, bouquets, the next where you're going in terms of seasonal flowers that are coming out that should be growing or whatever it is. You want to be commenting in those forums, and in the forum posts you want to push your URL as your signature. The reason is because the more people that come from that forum to your website, and the more times you keep repeatedly providing good information on those forums, your page and your website is going to become very credible. And that's offsite optimization. Again, that's basically creating credible content outside of your website and then pushing people to your website based on the content you're providing. And that goes on to that pretty much covers the next point: directories, forums. Which directories and forums are you in? So I hope this video has helped you out. I've basically been doing digital marketing for about 6 or 7 years. I've got my own website. I'm still doing digital marketing as my 9 to 5. I'm now trying to move outside of that and do my own thing at the moment. I've launched my own business. So the reason why I'm trying to put this out there is basically in the future, I want to have my own marketing agency. But for now, what I want to do is I want to provide good content free for everyone to use. So I'm going to be using YouTube and all other means of social media to be able to share this content and share this knowledge that I've built up, and just give it to people for free. And something I plan on doing in the future is that I want to provide a money back guarantee to people. So if you feel that the content or the services I'm providing in the future have not given you value in your money and in your business, I haven't created value for your business, added value I'm talking about, then I will do a 100% money back guarantee. So I'm sticking by this. This is what I want to do. I hope this video has helped you out. If you do have any questions, please make sure you leave them in the comment section, and I definitely will get back to you. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Take care, guys. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.